want. So hopefully they want some experience. I've been in there for 8 years, so I do have some experience around the horseshoe, and hopefully I can bring that experience again to a new council.
This episode of Bring Back the Porch, brought to you by Bernie Leahy, River Street Realty. Let's get you home. And our next guest on Bring Back the Porch, a very familiar face to me because I've known you for
long time.
1980, I think, when you came to play for the Medicinehat Tigers.
1981, actually.
81, okay.
81, so
yeah.
44 years.
Yeah, and you came to Medicinehat just to play hockey. Brian Varga is our guest, if you haven't already figured that out.
Yeah, I got traded from the Regina Pats to Medicinehat Tigers that year in my overage year, so it was my last year, and lo and behold, here I am 44 years later. I never left.
What's kept you in Medicinehat?
Just the city itself. I remember coming here playing as a 20-year-old, and in the middle of winter, we could go to the hockey rink with our T-shirts on because the Chinook rolled in, right? In Regina, you never ever had Chinooks. No way. It was minus 30 from end of October to April all the time. So when we came to Medicinehat, I thought, oh, God, this is great. You can get around the town real easy. And it was just a great place, great fans. They hated me when I was a Regina Pat, but once I became a Tiger, they seemed to like a guy. So not that we had a great team that year, but we sure showed in the old arena how good it was to play there. So I always wanted to play on the other side because I hated Section 2. They always used to get on us all the time. So if it wasn't harassing us, they were throwing stuff at us. So it was nice to be on the other side for once.
So from the hockey arena to the political arena, how did that start?
Well, it was 2007 was the first time I ran, so I just thought I want to be a bigger part of the community, try and help out the citizens. I was involved in a lot of things with minor hockey and different organizations like the Hockey Hounds, and I thought, oh, it's time to maybe help out in that capacity as a counselor, and I put my name in, and unfortunately for the first 2 times I didn't win, but then the 3rd and 4th time I did win, and then the 5th time I didn't win, so now I'm trying again. So it's been 17 years now since I first ran.
In the last election, I think you were 880 votes away from being elected. You were number 9,
yep,
which is in the crying hole.
Yeah,
so,
and I was actually that in the other 2 elections too that I lost. So I was in the number 9 spot each time. So
you're the most popular unelected candidate.
That's exactly right. So hopefully it doesn't happen again, but I guess we'll see. It's up to the voters as to what they want. So hopefully they want some experience. I've been in there for 8 years, so I do have some experience around the horseshoe, and hopefully I can bring that experience again to a new council.
Have you thought about something that might change the outcome from 4 years? Have you gone back, looked at the tape, to use a hockey reference? Have you tried to figure out where maybe you might have changed something?
Not really. I think there was a lot of unrest back then. COVID didn't help us out very much with that, and the people were all talking about a change. No different than what they're doing now. They're all talking about having a change, so I'm excited about that because it gives everyone an opportunity to maybe get in and be a counselor again.
You have a unique perspective in that you've been on the outside and you've been on the inside, looking from the outside the last 4 years. What's your observation?
It was just tough because I don't think the team was working together very hard, right? So I've been a team member all my life and a team player, and I struggled with that they didn't get along all the time. Maybe they did behind closed doors, but it didn't show around the council table, and that's not where you want it to show. You actually want it to show outside that area. But to be a team, build a great team, work together, be cohesive, that's the biggest thing for me in the future of having a chance to be on council. We got to build a good team so that we work hard to help the residents and the businesses in Medicinehat.
Now, when you build a team, you don't want a bunch of yes men.
No.
You want people who are going to bring you different ideas and maybe say, have you thought about this?
Yeah. The hardest part is that, right? So to be a team, there's a lot of different avenues that they're going with, a lot of different ideas. That's why you got to sit down and think and listen. You got to listen a lot too with what's going on and what the other people think. staff is really important when it comes to being a counselor. They inundate us with information, and hopefully we can make good decisions on that. So by working around the table, we're not all going to agree to everything, that's for sure, but when we do agree to something, we got to have a cohesive team behind it that follows through with what we decided on.
What has sports taught you about being in a team and working with a team and leadership?
Well, the leadership part's a big deal. I've been captains of hockey teams too, right, where you lead by example, you lead by hard work, and you help out those that are struggling. So I would be no different around the council table. With the experience for the 8 years that I had, we'd help out the new people. And I was lucky enough when I first came into council in 2013, there were some veterans there, and they helped us out, get through the process, get through the protocols, get through all the information, and they always were a shoulder to lean on. So I think that's an important part of being a councillor, that when you have some experience, you got to help out the people that are new to the role, and hopefully that's what it works out to be.
As you've observed the last 4 years, did you ever find yourself looking at a decision going, if I'd have been sitting there, maybe it might have been different?
Never really thought of it that way, but I sure struggled with some of the things that were going on, and just the infighting. And we had a good team, I think, in the 8 years that I was in there. We tried to progress and move forward. And like I said, we were going through the worst times in COVID, where we had to put taxes at 0% or no raises in taxes. And we also helped with the utility bills back then too. And that set us back. We were just lucky that we had some reserves to put into that so that we could move forward with the city. The city was hurting at that time with the people that were not working and don't have a job, and things were happening very quick, and we're lucky that we made some of those decisions to help out the residents of Medicinehat and the businesses too. So,
and as you look back, what key takeaways do you point to with pride that I was involved in that?
Well, I think the COVID time was a big time where we helped out the people in Medicinehat. Not many people talk about it anymore, but those 2 years were very tough, right? And it's lucky that the city had enough reserves that we could go into them and help out in those areas, right, with taxes and with utility bills, and help the people that were struggling. And I think that's our biggest accomplishment in that time. So other than building facilities and keeping facilities up in Medicinehat, which Medicinehat people like, that we have great facilities within our community, and when we spend money the right way, that's the best thing.
Spending money the right way is one of the key things that a councillor has to be observant of, because there's tax dollars involved, and people have already said this 5.7% increase, partly but because you had 2 years of zero. They can't afford that. Yeah,
it's a tough go, and I mean, I had a conversation with a young man last night about that, and people think it's a huge amount, but which it is for some. But sometimes it's $10 a month when they increase on the bill too. But over a year, it's $120 that some people don't have. So that's a tough thing to take on. And if the utilities are higher than what they usually are, then that's a tough situation too. So we got to try and get that. I don't know if we can get to keeping taxes the same or not. I'm hoping we can. I hope we have enough in the reserves. But if you take or lower the taxes and keep them the same, then something else has to go up, because the budget is the budget. We have a certain amount of money that we have to raise in a year in order to work with operations to make the city run. And so if you take away from one, you got to add to another in order to balance it out. So it's not as easy as what it seems, and hopefully we can find that happy medium.
You talk about facilities. One of the big facilities that this last council, the outgoing council, has just sort of pushed ahead is the Southside Rec Center. Is that something that finds favor with Brian Varga?
It finds me favor as long as we know how we can pay for it, right? Because it is a lot of money. And of course, any new facility that comes on board in the city of Medicinehat is a great thing, right? But hopefully it doesn't hurt a lot of the people that are here, or that we have to raise taxes, or that we have to find other ways of getting income from. Hopefully we can get it some from the government, from the province, and from the feds in order to do this. I don't think we can do it alone, or else the taxes will go up, and who knows what it's going to be for a cost factor once it starts getting built, right? It's not that easy in that part. So as long as we don't have to foot all the bill and it's within reason, I'm all for a new facility.
One of the things that a councillor and a city council can do is attract new industry to broaden your tax assessment, to bring in more taxes so you have that money available to spend. But what about the people who are here already, the current businesses?
Well, I think that's one of my priorities is that we have to look after our house first. We have to look after our business that are in Medicine Hat now, and hopefully we can find some incentives to help them get along. I'm tired of hearing that this building's closing down or this business is closing down or this business is going away. It's sad to see that happen in our community. So hopefully we can think of something to incent people to stay in their business, whether it be trying to hire more people, whether it's expansion in their own businesses, whether it's promotions to move their business somewhere where it's on the internet, where they can sell their product outside of Medicine Hat, and then hopefully the people of Medicine Hat keep buying from people in Medicine Hat.
Do you, as a city councilor, potential city councilor, have enough tools in your kit to do that?
Well, hopefully we do. That'll be a lot to do with sitting around the table with the other 9 people and trying to figure that out, because I think we have to look at that. We have to look at ways that we can better our own city and bring in more people. And sometimes big industry doesn't come our way, right? So we have to have some incentives for them sometimes, but then we can't not have incentives for our own businesses that have been here for years and years and years. So it's kind of a happy medium again, where hopefully we can do both. We can draw people in, draw businesses in, and hopefully help our own businesses out in Medicine Hat too when they're struggling.
How do we sell the city of Medicine Hat? How do we tell those who don't know about Medicine Hat what a great city we have and what the advantages of coming and doing business and living in Medicine Hat are?
Well, if I go back to my 1981, the thing was it's easy to get around. The summers are great. The hot weather's great. Winters aren't so bad. We have the odd minus 40. We got everything you can want from a big city. We've got all the stores, the facilities, everything that's imaginable for the residents of Medicine Hat. Could we do better in some of those areas? Absolutely. But again, it's the dollar value that comes into effect. So I think the sunny days, the warm weather, locations to places like Elkwater and Echodale and things that we have around the area are great. And it's a small community where you can get around to one end to the other in 15 minutes. You don't have to drive an hour like in Calgary or Edmonton.
Would you be a salesperson for the city of Medicine Hat?
100%. When I was in there for the last 8 years that I was in there, whenever we went to a conference, I tried to promote Medicine Hat, get people to come here. That's why I work so hard on getting the sports to come here, any kind of tournaments. So we're going to be flying high when the Special Olympics comes in August in 2026. There's going to be 1,700 athletes here and 1,500 volunteers, and the economic impact for that 1 week is going to be between $11 and $12 million for our businesses in Medicine Hat. So anytime we can host events, host tournaments, do whatever we can within our community to bring people in. And sometimes those people come back and want to live here too. So anytime you can bring outsiders in and show them what we've got here, it's great to move on in the future.
One of the keys to running the city of Medicine Hat is looking after the energy department, the utilities. And there's been talk that perhaps some of that is too complicated for a city councilor to comprehend, and we need to move it off into a municipally controlled corporation. You've sat on council for 8 years. You've seen those documents. Would you agree that maybe this needs to be put off to an arm's length corporation?
You know what, when I was in, we had people that came in and helped us out like that. We had experts that came in and talked to us because we don't know everything. We're not the experts in the field. We're basically a council that takes in information and then moves forward with whatever the information is that we get to make a decision. So I don't think it's a bad thing that you bring in experts. I don't think they'll take over the utility part. We're never going to sell that part. We're going to keep that forever because it's only in our best interest to do that. But to get the experts in the field that might want to come in and help us a little bit as to where our next move's going to be or how we spend our dollars or make our dollars, I think it's important, right, that we have some experts in the field, because as a councillor, it's too much information to give to us when we're not in the field of that.
Yeah. Being a councillor, you are overwhelmed with information, and you've got every 2 weeks, you've got a city council meeting where the agenda's that thick. Then there's the committee meetings that you have to attend as well. It's a lot of work.
It is. People don't realize that the amount of hours that you put in for the amount of money that's happening there, it's I was overwhelmed when my first year of getting into politics too with the city of Medicine Hat. We had those big long agendas and big long pages to do. I think our biggest one was over 800 pages. So, and you want to be informed. You want to know what you're doing when you go to the council meetings. So you want to read through it and try and understand it. But there's a lot of questions all the time. So a briefing note would be great, I think, at the front of the page so that we can delve into it, so that we know what the main things are that they're trying to get across to us for information, and then we can delve into it a little bit deeper and ask some questions when it comes up in council meetings.
You mentioned when you were playing hockey how much you disliked Section 2 because they were always booing you.
Yeah.
I guess a modern day analogy to Section 2 would be social media. Has that affected how councillors do their job and maybe kept some people out of the political arena?
I think it has, because I think it's not always true. Things that are said harshly and not to the best interest of what the actual subject is. Sometimes you can say the complete answer the correct way of what actually happened or went on when you're on the inside, and somebody will still turn it around. So that's the hardest part about being a counselor, where you don't know where the trust factor is. The way I think we can do it is face-to-face. I want to look into your eyes when I'm talking to you and telling you what the story is, not through a telephone or email or anything like that. I'd like to meet you face to face so that we can have a hard talk on what the question is. So I'm hoping that can happen more, but it doesn't seem to be going that way.
Would you be available to anybody and everybody as a councillor?
100%. I was when I was for the 8 years. Anybody could have phoned me and asked me some questions, and I would have tried to help as much as I can, because we can move that pedestal a certain way to try and find out answers for people. So that's our job. We're elected officials. We're supposed to help the people of Medicine Hat. So if they have a question, I hope they come and answer us. Right now they can ask us too, even when we're running on the outside. They can ask us questions too. So I'm hoping that people will do that. Right? Our meet and greets are so with what's going on now. Not very many people come out. I wish there was more people that came out so we could talk to people, and hopefully it gets better in the next 2 weeks here, or 10 day. 15 days, not even. We're at 12 days, I think, until election. So hopefully people come out and talk to a guy.
What do you make of the 39 people who are seeking those 8 seats around council?
Nobody probably likes it. Any of the 39 probably don't like it that there's so many people running, right? So there's so many different ideas and challenges that are going to meet the city. So it's just a matter of hopefully people wanting some experience within council and moving forward with that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure. 39 is a lot, but I was enlightened that we had 31 in the last election too, so we were close to that. So there was lots in the last election because of what went on, and this is no different, right? So seizing an opportunity, I believe, in what's going on in council and seeing if they can get in to be a councillor. So just as long as they're going in for the right reasons. I'm not going anywhere. So people got to realize that. I've got a business here. I'm not moving anywhere, so I want to work for the people of Medicine Hat, and that's my only goal in the future.
One of the things that we're looking at too in the next several years is the Samus Solar Project. The city has invested in that. Good investment in your eyes?
You know what? That's something that I have to learn some more information on too. I know there's lots out there, but once it gets going, it's a lot of money. Again, it's a cost factor, and are we going to benefit from it in the long run too? I don't know if it's a full partnership or it's a sole proprietorship with us buying the whole thing, or whether there's partners involved. But I think the only way that it can work is if we do have partners involved in it, that we do make a little bit of money out of it. We have to make money out of it. We can't lose money out of it, because that's coming out of the city coffer, and that's the residents of Medicine Hat, and we can't have that happen. So we've done that too much in the past, and hopefully we don't do it in the future.
One of the changing faces of Medicine Hat can be seen every day in the downtown, with the number of people who they, I guess using brackets, call homeless, the people who are unhoused, just don't seem to have any direction or purpose in their lives. The Mustard Seed has tried to step in and help with these people, but they have yet to find a location that I guess works for everyone. Your thoughts on that situation?
Well, it's a tough situation. I mean, we did work at the town square, and we were around those people for 6 months when we did that town square. And for us, it was never a challenge or a problem when they were around. They're human beings too. So they just have some struggles that are going on with their lives, and they need a place that they can hang out at and be somewhere where they can be looked after. And for a council, really, it's a provincial issue that has to happen, right? The only purpose we have when we get asked from these different organizations is, can we give them a place for them to have their businesses or their business to help out the homeless. So really, it's a provincial issue, and we can do all we can or try to do all we can, but the only thing we can give them is a place to stay, right? And make sure that they're well cared for and fed and looked after in the community. I think that's our goal as a council, is to give them a place to do that. But again, it's very tough in Medicine Hat. Medicine Hat isn't a big place, and we can't hide them away in a corner somewhere. And that's the hardest part, right? So they're going to be around where there's people and where there's houses.
What role do you think the police can do in helping these people who are on the street?
You know what? I've had some good conversations with some of them. Actually, a gentleman last night at the one thing, and their hands aren't tied, but they do as much as they can with the situations that come in front of them. So they can only do so much also, and they're doing the best they can with the amount of people that they have on the force. So again, it's a tough thing when they can't hold them, so they have to release them or let them go, because really, to give them a fine, you know you're not going to get paid, or you're not going to get it, and so it's a struggle. I don't think it's an easy situation to try and figure out, even for them. They probably want to do more, but they really can't with what's going on, or the legislation that's there for their homeless people, and it's not going to go away. It's going to stay here. It's just we have to figure out ways to solve how it's happening in Medicine Hat.
Transparency is another issue that has raised its head in this election. People have been looking for more information from whatever their point of view. Maybe they think that too much business is done behind closed doors. We've also heard from some of the current councillors that maybe they did too much in open, and they sort of revealed a little bit more of what goes into the process that might have given the impression that they didn't know what they were doing. You've been on both sides of it. Yeah,
that's a tough one. So some things just can't come out in the open. If there's deals on the table with somebody that's coming in to try and buy land or build a business in our community, that's hush-hush. You can't tell that, because if we do leak anything out to the public, guess what? That business goes away because it's confidential and somebody breached what they're supposed to be doing. So it's a complicated matter. Some things should be taken behind closed doors, and I think some of those should have happened with this council, when they should have called a point of order sometimes in order to go back and figure it out, and then come back as a team and move forward with it. But I don't think that happened very much. Sometimes too much information isn't good also, where it's information that's not so important to the residents of Medicine Hat, but it's important to the staff and to council to move forward with it. And eventually that information will come out anyways, I believe. So in my time, it was you did some things behind closed doors, you came to a consensus and came to an agreement and moved forward with it, and then it came out to the public. So we have to make sure that we had all our P's and Q's together before we bring the whole package outside.
The other question, I just lost my train of thought. Well, that
right.
happens. that happens. We were talking about transparency.
Yeah. If I could, a little bit on transparency. I think it's an overused word in council, since it came up 4 years ago in the election time about being transparent. So I think when we were in council and our team was in council at that time, we tried to put out as much information as we could with the people. But like I said, there was just some things that we could not give to the people because it would be a conflict of interest, and sometimes those deals would fall through. So most of the information comes out anyways. Eventually, it might take a little bit, and it might be heard in the public that, there's something going on there. It eventually comes out, and council will tell you what's going on.
Governance is the question that I was going to go to, where people might think, well, a city councillor can do anything.
No,
really, you
wrong.
only have the one.
Yeah, people. We got when Moretta Haglund was our CAO, we got that told us a lot of times. Don't go into the weeds. Stay out of the weeds. That's not your job to get into the weeds and do that. So we can break things to our CAO or to our city manager, and then they deal with it down the road. So that's the proper way to do it. We can discuss all you want around the horseshoe, but it's got to go through the CAO if they want to get into operations, and that's not our job. We're there to make decisions and make sure that the city's moving forward, and not to get into that realm of conflict with city employees, with the operations. So better to stay out and have one strong CAO that believes in the council, and let's move forward with those kinds of things.
On October the 20th, we have 8 votes, some of the most valuable currency because we only get to spend them once every 4 years. Why should I spend a vote on Brian Varga?
Well, I think that just the experience part over the years, and there's not that many people that are coming in with experience, so that experience helps in the future for what we want to do, and it kind of sets us apart from knowing the process, knowing the protocol, knowing who to talk to, knowing what to move forward with. I think that's the biggest part, where that experience plays a big role, and you can help out the other councillors too that are coming in, that are new, that are green, and I think they appreciate that when you go. I know I did when I first came into council, when I had some people that have been there for a while and they're veteran guys, so I enjoyed that part of it, because you learn a lot from your peers in the council chambers.
Just like when you were a hockey player, when you were a rookie, you had older veterans that
exactly
the ropes.
Same stuff. It's the same stuff. You minded your manners, and you learned by them, by their actions and their work ethic and everything else. So I've learned that over the years, that work ethic usually beats out anything. So, and being accountable to the team is very important. So,
Brian Varga, candidate for City Council in Medicine on October 20th. Thanks for the visit, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.